That's the first thing, and the second thing. Get into it. Boom, boom. Ah. Okay, I think that's what I need. Let me... Okay, I think that did it. That's all secured, that's all secured. I'm gonna leave this sitting up. Okay. There we go. So. And no, I don't. I also can't respond through that because I'm using my recording platform, so I can't sign into the chat from here. But I wanted to start this out by explaining the purpose, and as I've been getting tips and experience doing recordings and such, some minor editing, very minor, like maybe even the IKEA instructions of minor editing skills. The purpose of the channel that I'm hoping comes across okay while I also distract my emotions by playing is sort of to show people a different side of the games. You know, you can be intense, you can be involved, but you don't have to be mean about it. It's not about non-competitiveness. You know, I've played competitively with friends, and I say with them not as versing, but side by side while we do actual competitions, whether it be at a local library or something online. And what I find is it's fine when you have a certain level of it. You know, there's going to be trash talking. I don't think anybody everywhere can avoid it. You know, I don't think it can be fully helped. I have to get another setup for that battery because that thing is just dying on me. But at the same time, you know, good sportsmanship is when you lose, you lose. If you get knocked out of a game or you're not as good as other people, and that's okay. But you don't have to give up. You don't have to try and put other people down because you're not as skilled, etc. You know what? I'll just turn this on. Just to have that extra side piece for now. Something. Yeah, something extra bright. Hang on. Why is that going off? Whew. That's weird. That was weird. Anyway. That's a text message from somebody I didn't even realize I had texted earlier. Anyway. It's annoying, you know, when I play sports or whatever and I follow the rules and somebody else doesn't. And I can complain about it to the officials, and that's fine. I don't hold anything personal against these people. It's a game. We're there to have fun, and even if I'm getting irritated by getting knocked out more times than I'd like, even if it is unfairly being knocked out, so be it. You know? And I'm not attacking this toxic masculinity stuff. I'm just talking realistic. It takes so much effort to constantly try to act like this indomitable force. And I just don't see a reason for it. And to double down on that effect, if I'm playing something that is adult rated, and there's a rating system for a good reason, I don't expect children to be on there. And when there are children on there, I will be a little bit more respectful and reserved. But their purpose and their place is not to be there. So, yes, some of my content is blocked for 18 or older on purpose. Do I believe like young children shouldn't play, whether it be airsoft? No. I don't, it's not my judgment. That is for their parent, that is for their family to decide, or whatever. However, I don't need to add to risk by just leaving it out there and somebody coming in and hearing stuff and not understanding the context, right? That's all. I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to put anybody out. I don't want to make anybody feel targeted, anything like that. And I didn't catch it on video, sadly. But there was a particular instance, nothing horrible. I played airsoft over the weekend, and there was this nice little skirmish going on at a certain area of the map, and we all just kept knocking each other out. And then at one point, I see this younger kid who's always there with his dad. His dad's never usually too far behind, but his dad kept getting knocked out, and he kept somehow going unseen. And at some point, in the confusion, he lost track of the teams and which side was where now. So me and a couple other guys were trying to encourage him, you know, to come over here and stay safe, but you know, he thought we were the enemy, etc., etc. Words were exchanged not so nicely. Not in a bad way, okay? Visibly upset was the child, but instead of us being a jerk, tagging him out, whatever, we just explained that we are on the same team, and it was fine. He's frustrated because he got confused, and that's okay. But us as the adults, and I mean adults as in there are people who are 17 all the way up to 40 or older there. So we don't need to add to the frustration. Okay, we don't need to put that fuel on the fire. He's doing what he can with what he knows. I've been playing airsoft since I was his age, so it's almost 20 years now. There's no reason for me to just double down on that, well, just get better and you know, beat somebody because I'm able to. When you're at that difference in level of I have some knowledge and you're just starting, you don't have to be so mean about it. And this isn't like that, what are the term people keep misusing, the snowflake idea. It's not. When I grew up, it was very harsh, right? You got better, you know. Back in our day, we had, even with video games, we had really bad verbal language exchanges. We had no help. You know, there were just photos and people would write letters, or because the internet wasn't that big, you know, a lot of it we figured out ourselves. But then on top of that, the older people who figured that stuff out, some of them published it and was helpful to all of us. Others were like, you just have to do it yourself because I had to do it. And my purpose of the channel is, as I figure stuff out, I'm going to share that knowledge because someone's going to figure out something even better to do with what I find out and improve upon it. Okay? And if they monetize it, so be it. All I can do is say, look, if you learn something, teach me. That'd be a great thing. But if you learn something and you hold on to it and you death grip it and you just want people to pay you and pay you and pay you, but you don't want to continue furthering the progress of that knowledge, think about how slowly, if at all, we would advance in technology, in our knowledge, if we just hoarded that knowledge and didn't tell anybody the secrets. didn't tell anybody how to do something. Okay? And that's kind of where I'm going with this whole thing, is as I learn stuff, as I know stuff, I'm going to distribute it willingly. Like World of Tanks. I know how to play. I've played for a long time. Not every part of my play is me trying to be pro, trying to do this. Like, I'm not trying to be 1,000% all day, every day, which a lot of people I notice do. There's also no purpose for that. I don't get paid for this. Someday I'd like to collect, even a penny. But I am not out here for money. I work hard, and I play hard. But I play fair. There were issues with people talking about freemium, premium, etc. over the years. With this game, premium ammo, yeah, they'll see down here I've got, 20 of those premium rounds. You can buy it with silver. I don't have any money in my garage, as many people see. But that's why I have all these premium tanks to kind of fund that. It's an old concept that we had when the game first came out. That's why I have the beta test tag right there. I'm pointing with my finger. Right there. Permanent B. I can't get rid of it. And that's for the military service. But I don't want special treatment from anybody. This isn't about any sort of special treatment. But I want everybody to treat each other with respect and dignity, and that does not require you to give up any form of your personality, any form of your belief. It doesn't even really affect you negatively or positively. It just creates a better environment for all of us to sort of operate in, okay? Like the pool in the hotel, right? Everyone smells the chlorine. A lot of the adults know that when they smell that, it's because there's such a chemical reaction between the body fluids and the chlorine that creates that smell, which is why if you don't smell a pool, you might want to hop in, because then the pHs are correct. But the point is, why let that pool sit there and fester? Why let everybody who... And this isn't about punishment either, okay? But why let that toxicity sit there when we can explain to people, look, we get you're frustrated, you lost, and that's fine. You can yell about it, whatever. But you don't have to carry on the 45 minutes, the days, the weeks, the months later about it. You see what I mean? I lost and I got mad. Sure, it happens. Again, didn't have it on camera. But to my defense, and to the other guy's defense, he's absorbed in the heat of the moment, understandably. I felt a shot scrim across my hat. I said, I don't think it hit me. I heard it skim, but I said, I'm going to call it out. That's a good shot. I don't know how we got it, but I said, hey, I'm out. I have my hands up. I have my dead rag on. I'm walking out. He proceeds to run around me in a 360 circle, shooting me constantly, which I wear a vest. And I had bought it because this had constantly happened. Not by this individual, but by, in general, there's always somebody that does this kind of stuff. So yeah, it was irritating. It was annoying. And I said to him, I'm already out. You don't have to keep shooting. But his continuation of the comment, and thusly ending up getting himself ejected from the game, was saying, it doesn't hurt, don't be a wimp, etc., etc. All I said was, that's not the point. It's a game. Have some class and sportsmanship, I said I was out, you got me. So you've already become victor. You don't need to be anything more. You don't need to try and get more out of what? You're either in or you're out, and I'm out. So what is shooting me more doing aside from you wasting your ammo that you spend hard-earned money on? You see what I mean? And because he decided to carry on, I didn't do it. But a referee decided to say something, and eventually they left early from the whole thing. Again, not my doing, not my intention. That's what they chose to do. When he could have just simply said, hey, sorry, in the heat of the moment. And I've had that. There's somebody that was on my team this time that last time scared the living daylights out of me using a minigun. I think it was like a 3 or a 4 barrel, maybe 6 barrel one. But it terrified me. Yeah, he hits a bunch of times. It's loud. It's hard to hear. But at least when I say, hey, you already got me, oh, sorry, no more, got it, And if he decides to shoot past me or where I'm walking, he'll say, hey, heads up, cool, thank you. Sportsmanship, I don't need to be going home bleeding. And in that instance with him and the minigun, I didn't have the vest, so yeah, it was painful when I got hit by it, like the 40-50 times in that second that it hit me. But you see what I'm saying? There's a way you can conduct yourself sportsmanlike, and you don't have to be mean about it. That's all I'm saying. Again, not a snowflake thing, but you're playing with children anywhere between the ages of 12 up. Okay? Do you really feel that small of a person? And maybe I'll go even as far as to say, for the men that play, do you really feel that small and weak as a man that you need to beat a 10, 11, 12-year-old child, whatever their age be, and then rub their face in the dirt, like, to feel good? You know what I'm saying? It's just odd, in my opinion. It's odd that you need to do those things to feel accomplished in your life. That's all. So again, those are the purposes of my channel. I want to show people that you can have a healthy relationship, not just with video games, but within video game communities. You don't need that toxicity. I've played competitively. I've played for money. It's a risk. There is no guarantee in anything. And just because you do something good doesn't mean that you're going to be the winner. And just because you do something in your opinion that's great doesn't make you a winner. Okay? Do I think the way I play is the right way and correct way? No. Do I think it's maybe a better alternative to what people are currently doing? A little bit. A little bit. Because anytime I did get banned, it wasn't by my action. It was by association. So I deassociate myself with those people. What else am I supposed to do? I just don't see a reason to be that upset. Like, look, I'm playing and I'm almost losing, and sure, I'm mad that I'm not penetrating this guy as well as I want to be. I could do a little better. So I'm going to readjust my thinking. Can't face him head on. If I poke out, he's going to get me. And you might even see it pop up in the chat. I finally re-enabled it on the game itself to see what people say. And it's fine. People rage. They say something once, fine. But when I've gone out of a match and it's been a couple matches since I played with a certain person and then they're messaging me how horrible I am, it makes me wonder. Because not all medium tanks are created equal. Not all heavy tanks are created equal. And I find a lot of the time that I'm told I need to do this better or that better with a tank. Oops. Sorry, teammate. Especially when it comes to a tank like this, where it's got okay armor depending upon the circumstance. Yes, this is a tier 5 match. I should be rolling in it. But I'm not going to be rolling in it. Yep, I knew that one of those RDs was going to get me. And that's okay. Saying somebody's good or bad for doing this and that, I don't have an opinion on that. Oh, if you use artillery, you're not skilled. Back in the day, it was irritating getting one hit killed. Sure. Sure it was. But you know what's more irritating? The way people handle their loss. You know, whether it be from me beating them or not. Or, for example, this tank. It's a heavy tank. Everybody knows it's a heavy tank. It's got okay armor, decent survivability. Everybody goes on the front lines with this, I noticed, that bought it new. And I'm talking about after the 10-year period, who were just starting out in the game. Back when I started, when this tank was first introduced, they explained it that it's better to snipe with, like a tank destroyer. And I couldn't understand at first, why would they make a heavy tank that you should be sitting far back with, etc., etc. And then, over that small part of, you know, Type 59 era, the original, back when sloped armor wasn't a full thing. Nice, I got the M, finally. Go back and apply that. Back when that first came out, yeah, you know, what are we supposed to do? You know, how are we supposed to conduct ourselves, etc.? Might change the Starry Night one to something else. So you get to this point with understanding something in the game. I like that one a little bit better. So then share it. Share it with everybody. I learned that the low, and I know I'm pronouncing that with my American accent, and I apologize. I love all the German tanks. You learn that that one is supposed to be used at a distance. Cool. Whatever, right? Not a big deal. So you do it. But people get mad about how it works, you know, because this one sits back further. This one has a lot of penetration, okay, with tier 8, and it's a great flanker. And this guy doesn't have as much armor, but has a good hit point pool. And that's why I said a flanker. See, when the Type 59 came out, it was amazing because you had a decently low profile tank in this turret that has 230 armor in the front, and it's rounded, and people would only stick out the head. So the armor on the lower side was a little bit stronger too, but they weakened it to make it a little more fair. They completely stopped selling it until recently, which is cool. I'm glad they brought it back, but I have the original. When I first got it, I still have it. But even this, you know, there was a thing we used to say in the chat, Wolfpack, and everybody would just go together and you'd charge head on at people and get around their backside. Tactics that still work to a degree if you know how other people are playing. This thing that nobody liked, I always liked it because it's just a big, beefy looking tank. Something heavy and strong, good armor all around. Like, I want the enemy to shoot at me. That's the point behind this tank. Some people call this a troll tank. I understand why. You know? It's big. It's slow. The armor is nothing. But the turret sits so high up. So you could potentially hide behind bigger cover and just be a turret with okay armor, 114 in the front, slightly sloped, and just kind of be a sentry gun. But that's what I mean by tactics as well. You have to look at your tank. You have to see how you can play it off, because not every tank is going to be good in every situation. KV series of tanks, I think those people are bold. Trash armor on the lower half, right? Here's the KV. This one has beefy KV armor. Where's my... I'm sorry, I'm looking for my normal one. I'm in the wrong section. Then you got the T50. Same beefy armor, right? But if you roll it back to the KV1, hull armor, 75. It's not until you get to tier 6 that it starts getting beefy. Which is all the more reason why I like the tier 6 premium one, the KV2. Let me pull up the tech tree. So you got the 1S with the same low hull armor. Then it turns into the IS, which has immediately better armor. By far. But you get the KV1 and the KV1S. Same thing. just to get over there. I'm heading to the IS-2 phase 2 kind of thing for the double barrel. I like the double barrel idea. I was going this route to get the non-premium one, but again, base hull. You can get this and it will do the exact same thing as the premium one. I believe it has the 152 as well. Let me pull up. Yeah, 152 M10. Now if I have this and I pull up the exact same one, these are the characteristics between premium on the right and the free tank on the left. I'm sorry, premium on the left, free one on the right. They're exactly the same. Okay? So you could potentially not buy it and go for that. Doesn't make you better or worse for the premium. There are advantages to premium. And while they explain it in text in the game, sometimes people need to hear it. And I'll start like this. It's a Russian tank that's a heavy tank. Okay? So I can take a Russian crew from the heavy tank that's not premium and put them into the heavy tank that is premium, and I don't have to retrain them for that tank specifically. That's the purpose of a premium. Stick them in, train them up to 100, or upgrade the skills, however, and then you put them back. Okay? I don't do that, personally. It's my choice. Okay? Then you get these elite commanders that come in, so I've got Duke from the G.I. Joe series as the KV commander for this version of the tank, which is, the Valhalla Ragnarok Warhammer 40k style. And I love it. I like the Warhammer style. Glad that it popped up for me and I was able to do it. On the other side, Cobra Commander. Same thing, another heavy tank. I wanted them to be brawlers. Similar thing, but this tank has way more armor, and that's kind of the point. I like the Japanese type tanks. I say type tanks, and this one's not named a type 1, but as you go on, it becomes type 4, type 5. This very big, heavily armored thing, kind of like a mouse, a little bit more speed. And then you got to choose between this sort of howitzer-like gun or this, and since it's 300 off, it's a big difference, especially the loading. You get 3 shots off, 3.5 shots off. You're relatively the same, so it's really what you like. And once I get up there, I'll figure it out. But that's all. Having premium rounds doesn't guarantee I'm better than you. I mean, in the game, it guarantees that you can hit penetration better, so why do I not use this on it? It's not that far off. Shell velocity is the same. These are virtually exactly the same. It's also like 10 times the amount of credits. So to save money, I use the cheaper ammo. I've had this tank for a long, long time, and all they've done was update the look of it, and I love it. Same crew I've had for years. The thinking back then was totally different. The way the game's mechanics were different. That's why I had preventative maintenance first, etc. Things like this. Okay, equipment, didn't even have that much before. But this suits my play style, not how the tank should be played, etc. But the way I play this tank, I find it very worthwhile. And it's in my opinion, I get my Tiger 1 moving and grooving. I was mad with all the updates too. Not everything is positive, okay? Some downsides. Thank you for the on track, which is actually, I think, the one I'm doing, right? Nope, I'm down here to 7. Oh yes, but I'm at 9 for that one, so I'm close to the end. Don't have any money for that, but I am very happy with the E50 and the E50M. I picked this up just because I was like, let's go to the Leopard, I guess. I wanted to complete this tech line. So when I started this game, Tier 8 was the highest for artillery. Original. I believe that was original. I want to say the Tiger P. Is it the Tiger P? One of these is not like the other. But I had the tier 8, and then they added 2 extra tanks, and this became a tier 10. So I got a tier 10 virtually for free. Very happy with it. Then they added these in, so now I'm starting the Nashorn. I've been at Jagdtiger for a while. Ferdinand, pretty happy with that. 200 millimeter armor in the front, nice, but, you know, weak in certain spots. As far as the HE goes, I'm glad it's changing a little bit. Mechanically in the game-wise, it didn't make sense that if you shot me on the side of my tank, broadsided my thickest part of the armor, and because within 4 meters of that impact point, let's just say, oh, well, the underside of the tank is the weakest part, it would register the damage from there instead of... That's all I'm saying. There were programming things that they've addressed, which is they're fixing, and I'm happy for that. Why is that important? Because, yeah, if I'm shooting down at you from the top and I hit your weakest part of the armor, then you should take damage from there. If I'm shooting the strongest part of the armor, yeah, there's going to be some splash spalding, but that's the whole point of why there's spall armor. You know, it should work accordingly. Perfectly happy with that. It doesn't denote the effectiveness of HE. But I hope that they still keep in the calculation like this. So you got this 128 and a 150. The higher caliber should affect things. I know they have it in World of Warships. So I'm hoping it still applies here, even with the new fixes. That's all. Okay. Yeah, I had the Aufb, not because I'm a big fan of this other tank that used to be a Clan Wars exclusive, and now it's available here. It was a premium at one point. I think it's still in the Tankopedia. But, yeah, I was very upset because that was the tier 9, and then the next one was the Mouse, and then they added a bunch of other tanks, so I had to go back to the Tiger P, and I'm working my way back up. I've wanted a Mouse from the beginning of the game. Still haven't gotten there. I respect it a lot. And somehow I got so good with the Tigers, and I just kept going because Tigers are my favorite. Picked up the 75. Happy with it. It was alright. And now have a 100. I was interested by this because... Oop, not the comparison list. Because it has 2 guns, and I use the bigger gun. I understand that there's a dramatic difference between these because this one has more speed, and I can become more of a threat, etc. I'm a bigger guy. I like the thump. That's all. This tank has good enough armor that I can play like that, you know, poke and move back. That's just me. But yes, I believe with the channel, we don't have to be as rough to other people within the community. Not just in World of Tanks, not just in Airsoft, but even in general. I don't believe every single mistake somebody should have to pay for, you know, superficially heavily. I say that knowing that someone's going to say something about it. Again, this is not to say, well, what if they murder? What if they do? This is not what I'm talking about. Okay? A lot of these what if questions and the you didn't think of that come out from outside the context of the conversation we are having. And this is where I feel that 3 classes should be mandatory in school. And if college is still going to be this paywall you have to get through, then it should be taught in high school. But there should be a level of philosophy, real philosophy, not just talking about the writings, psychology, and anthropology. Because the fundamental things that I've learned, and I had gotten very lucky with having good professors that took the time to explain it to my messed up brain. You know, 1, how to set up a conversation, how to conduct yourself within that conversation, and recognizing the thoughts and the things you're saying or about to say might not fall in the context of the rules. So in philosophy, we were going to talk about zombies and what the modern zombie would be. This is not a Call of Duty thing. This is sort of the going with the flow, droning on, getting this rhythm of life and just sticking with it full gun-ho and not even thinking about what else there could be, or even yourself, are you happy? You know, just going in, going out, day in and day out, 9 to 5. And the rules of this are, we would say, in a collective thing, which took many months to explain and learn and teach, what we called our package: your traumas, your past experiences, what you've, when I say past experiences, I mean like with the conversation, but also your experience as far as what have you yourself learned as you grow older, right? Regarding to this topic, you know, and you leave it out. And we had somebody that was very hard understanding that rule, because she believed herself to be a scientist and everything can be proven or disproven, etc., etc. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all, right? The problem came with every conversation. She wanted to bring out stats, statistics, quote unquote facts, but they were always only to support her argument. And the second part of philosophy was, and I want to say also with a little bit of the scientific method, maybe a little bit of anthropology and psychology mixed in there too, our professor would flip in the middle of the conversation to the other side of the story, right? Hey, you're contradicting yourself, you know, et cetera, et cetera. He's like, no, it's not a contradiction. I can understand information from the both sides and draw conclusions, you know, because you need both halves of an argument to make a good argument. Number one, sorry. Number two, if you really feel about a topic, you should be able to also defend that from the other side. It was his opinion. I agreed with it to an extent. I don't think I could do it, but I can definitely say that it opened my eyes to the understanding of what somebody else is saying to me. So I may be on this side and you may be on that side, but I can definitely put my vision and my mind into your side and see it for what you're saying. And I can still disagree with it. You see what I mean? This is not about right and wrong. And that's where people mix up those conversations, because it's almost like a basketball game. You know, oh, I presented this evidence, I should win. No, because that's not the point of it. How we win is how we come to a conclusion between the two individuals. And we had group discussions like this too. And it was a matter of contention, where you had to not just talk a good argument, but understand it from both sides and see the points that each side is making. And we don't have conversations like that anymore. And this is why I find it irritating when people bring up, you know, facts, figures. Oh, this is reality. This is this. This is that. Based on whose perspective? Yours? This person that wrote this? Because we'll never fully know who it is in reality. You know what I mean? You just won't. Because we are not the writer. We are not the one who created it. And that's where, when you talk about analyzing the books and the teachings, you know, you got the problem with Socrates and Plato, because Plato wrote everything based on how he interpreted it from Socrates, etc. And that in and of itself should sort of put in your mind, well, if he says it this way and this is how he's intending it, that is how it is, versus he said it like this, but I thought of it like that. Then you're changing the meaning. You see? Then you no longer are participating in the argument, you're creating a narrative. I'm not political in that sense, you know. I do find all the politics disturbing. And the only thing I will say to it is, based on what I just said, that is how arguments should be conducted. Okay? But nothing will ever get solved. It will. Because you know what's not involved in the argument? My personal stake in it, whether it be financial, etc., agenda, anything. You know, sure, everybody goes in preparing their side of an argument for inevitably the other person to say, I concede, you win, whatever. You know, even in philosophy class, in those arguments. But you get so much more from learning about the other side and learning about what those people are worried about, what's meaningful to them. and how they interpret that information that you're presenting and how you interpret their information. You can come to a middle ground without violence. But that's the part that this other person had an issue with, the scientist. You have to be willing and able to sort of take yourself out of it. Okay? Yes, I need money. Yes, I need this. Yes, we need all these things, right? This is what's at stake. Take yourself out of it. Be objective. As much as humanly possible. Nobody is expecting perfection. There's no such thing. But when you sit there and say, well, if I don't get mine, you're not getting yours. Not how it works. Because you know what happens 9 times out of 10 with somebody who says that and they do get theirs does? They do nothing for the other. That's it. I had an example for that today, actually. And I could have gotten mad. I could have yelled. I could have done, what is that horrible trend? The Karen thing, right? I could have done everything. I had an appointment. I was there for my appointment. I was there on time. Guy went in front of me. They asked me, were you waiting? How I interpreted it, right? Was I waiting? Yes, I was waiting. So she took it as, yes, I was helped. But when I sat there thinking her actual words, I was like, wait a minute. She asked me, was I already helped? I answered the question correctly. Okay, this guy went in front of me. You see? Because I sat there and I listened. And even though I could swear up and down to Jesus and whatever, that I heard it the other way. Doesn't make me right, just because I think I heard it the other way. But I took a minute, thought about it, and was like, okay, I made a mistake. Not a big deal. I was there for my appointment. I was there on time. That was it. You see? No reason to get upset and scream and yell and hoot and holler. That's it. And I was helped. I'm trying to lead by example. That's it. I also believe everybody, even those people who get banned for language, banned for this, banned for that, they can do better. I believe that. Not because I'm ignorant, and I'm not because I believe I can save everybody. I don't believe that I can save everybody. No, almost everybody is kind of on their own. But I can just try to do better and show people how to do better. And it takes work. It takes work. And I've heard people argue about what it is to be a man, whether it be the toxic masculinity stuff or other. But when it boils down to it, every single time I hear somebody even slightly feel like they're being accused of something, and it happens to me all the time, they go the other way. And they put it on everybody else. The difference being, I work hard to try and catch that if I see it happening to myself, if I'm doing it to somebody. And I'm wrong for doing that. But I can admit that, hey, that was wrong. I apologize. Let me explain. And that's it. But then the expectation is, and it should be this way socially, if I'm trying to explain, it's not a justification of I did wrong, so I'm going to continue to do the wrong thing because as long as I justify, that can't happen. I can explain why it happened and apologize that it did because that's what I did. I did that action, and that was my mistake. And I apologize for it, and here's why it happened. And that's it. It is not a justification of me doing it, so I'm going to continue to do it. That's where those two sides get mixed up. Okay? And it happens to me. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. I've accepted this. But there are steps that I know that I must take to make sure that everybody else that I interact with, if they make a funny face or if I get the impression that they're not understanding me in the way I intend, that I can explain myself. You know, I have said some very offensive things, completely innocently, not racist stuff, just insensitive, seeing somebody after a funeral and saying something and not realizing that it would bother them, accidental stuff. Things that I don't even know could upset them, right? Because I don't know everything about everybody. And that's okay. And I say it's okay because I don't need to go beat myself up to the point where I want to hurt myself or others. But I can say, okay, I did something wrong. Find out if there's a way to fix it. But for me, I don't go that step anymore. I just say, I did that. All I can do is try not to do it again. Because sometimes you can't fix it. And it sometimes is even more painful to the person you've hurt if you try to. But that's also why you can ask. But again, this is not justification for, well, I did that thing wrong before, so I'm going to continue to do it wrong because I can just apologize and there's no consequence. That's the point. There is a consequence. We don't know what the consequence is. Not everybody can tell us the consequence, and sometimes the consequence never comes. But it's the right thing to understand that there are consequences to your actions and your words. And take responsibility. And I've also been blamed for stuff that was not me. Okay? I do feel like my mother did a very good job of raising me. And I'm still not perfect, but that's not her fault. Okay? Because I have my own autonomy. I will say, one thing she did teach me that I find very interesting is the ability for me to... I don't want to say take fault for something that's not my fault. I don't want to put it that way. Many people take it as that. Many people have said that that's what I do. But if somebody's mad, I'll use examples of working in the cable industry. And you can understand this because it's the cable company. Nobody likes how expensive it is, etc., etc. And being in the field, I'm like the only face that they are ever... Phoebe, you want to come inside? Come inside. Sorry, my dog squeaked and I could hear her right out the door. Come on, come in. Come in. There you go. There you go. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were out there. Just close that. I get them to understand that I am there for them. I was an in-house technician before changes. I'll leave it at that. I would go through the house top to bottom, checking the entire length of the line for what I was taught were abnormalities and inefficiencies, because you deserve a stellar experience because you pick us versus the competition. That's the mentality that was behind it, right? That was what was instilled in me. So I may not have done as many jobs in a day that the company liked. However, my satisfaction rating was pretty high. I helped people understand their bill, how the billing process worked. I helped them understand how the actual cable worked versus the old days, right? And I asked them what they need and what they want and tried to show them that, yes, while we all want the moon and the stars, this is how much it is, and you don't want to spend that much. You're willing to spend this much, and you want to get this. I said, we can meet somewhere in the middle here. It might be a little bit more than you want to pay, but you'll get closer to what you want as far as service. And I got nothing. I got nothing out of doing that. I don't want something from it. However, what I felt like I got out of it was a customer now who understood something they didn't before. And I expected them to forget it immediately. But at least for that moment and for the following year or two, if it was a promotional thing I showed them, they got what they needed and they were happier than they were for years beforehand. And it was a point where I started asking for, like, you know, what are the most extreme cases? Not as far as, you know, severity of problem or just bill payment, but like, because there's customer ratings, we have them, you know, for customers, just like any other industry. And I said, let me talk to them. Let me see what I can do, you know. And I didn't have any special powers. I couldn't override things. I couldn't wipe away debts, anything like that. But you sit down and you take the time and you change somebody's mind purely by being on their side. Yes, you want this. You need this. Let's make it happen. And let's try to make you happier while we're at it. It was a good attitude that I liked, and I supported it. But with everything going on, you know, you don't see that too much. And it's getting even worse with everything else. And that I'm facing in regards to politics. What's the point of it all? Being in the customer service area, I can be a better person by choice versus expectation. That's all. And I was happy to do it, genuinely. I've stayed later on some days. I've also flat out said, like, no, I'm not going to do this particular thing. And that's okay. My wife has helped me a great deal in understanding many things as well. But most importantly, she's helped me understand self-worth. I'm processing, I'm thinking. I just hope that whatever I can pass on does get passed on. I want to be somewhat of a mentor in that regard. I don't believe I'm perfect. I don't believe I should replace people. Because even some of the bad people that you interact with, people that you don't want to be interacting with anymore, they give you something too, and you may not realize it. Okay? They do something in your life. And that is something important to note. There is a purpose. That's all. And I wouldn't be where I am, of course, if it wasn't for the hard stuff I went through. Like many people. And I apologize for who I'm about to give a shout out to. Two people. One, not so sorry, because he knows. The other, it's a fairly recent friendship. And I'll preface it with, my wife and I had conversations. She learned something new, and she was talking about certain relationships being optional, right? That certain people feel that friendships, acquaintances, whatever, different categories. But people like me and my wife, for us, we do a lot of chosen family. We have a lot of friends. And there is no one is a best and this one's that. Maybe you can give the best title to the longest running friend, which my friend Doug, he's the one I know doesn't care because I've done videos recording. He's Psychoshiro. And then there's newer relationships that people would call acquaintances or whatever, and I don't know how people categorize it in their minds. I'm sure they have cost, benefit, whatever in their mind. What can I get out of this person? What does this person do for me? For me, the fact that you give me attention and you care about what I have to say and you treat me with dignity and respect, again, this is based on my trauma, go very far with you, you know? I go very far with you. But I don't take BS or anything negative in that regard, you know? People think that they're crossing me and they're getting away with stuff. I'm very well aware when it's happening. and I will continue to be aware. At some point, you will be blacklisted. And there's some people who may see my video, and they may know what I'm talking about. And to them, I will say I am sorry. But I'm also not fully sorry. If that makes sense to you. Because you know why. You know why it happened. And some people may want to play victim. Whatever. I don't claim to be a victim in that regard for certain things. And I'll end that rant there. Because what I'm doing about it is creating this channel. I get to use my voice. I get to put my opinion up. But my opinion is not accusatory. I am keeping it vague on purpose because I'm keeping as much of the emotion of it out. But I also want to send that message to other people who may be confused, who may not understand, you know? And maybe they're questioning certain things in their life. And all I want to say is I'm here. I'm going to continue to be here. Okay? And not that I find certain trends disingenuous or anything like that, but I have a healthy amount of skepticism. Excuse me. But I'm also very sensitive as far as how people present certain things. All I can say is I'm here. I've made it through. You can too. I don't know how I did. Okay? But I did. But I will say, it absolutely 110% was not without help. And the scary thing was, at that point, was finding help from places I never thought to. And that's it. Okay? Because where I was getting help from normally wasn't helping anymore. I had to go where something new. That's all. That's all I want to say about that. And people who understand will know what I'm talking about. It's for them, not for everybody. Now, I know I sound all over the place. I may have forgotten a thought or two. This is part of me as a person, and also part of my, you know, accident from a while back. Anyway, talking about acquaintances. And I don't feel that people are acquaintances. Okay? You're my friend or you're not. You know, and if so far I go further with it, then you become part of my chosen family. See what I'm saying? Now, as far as that goes in regards, Caleb, the one who I apologize if this turns out weirdly for them. Caleb was an acquaintance. I had to process because I'm trying to say this, and I'm sure he'll see it, and I don't want to make him feel weird. I'm already feeling weird as it is. He's an acquaintance that I started playing Airsoft with locally at a field nearby where I live. What I find so impressive about this acquaintanceship, which, as he already knows, it's a friendship to me. There's no such thing as acquaintanceship. But I'm saying this in regards to people who may not understand the view of relationships being optional, because to me they're not. Okay? I wear my heart on the sleeve. I'll probably get flack for that again, like I always do in life. I didn't give this man, okay, my phone number. I didn't give him really any way to contact me. I gave him a link to my YouTube channel. He liked videos, he watched them, he spread the word. Great, awesome, more than I ever expected. On one of my streams from Xbox, I understand how he did it. I put 2 and 2 together. He took my gamer tag and he sent a message. And that's how we first started talking. He sent it through there. And for the first time in my life, I had somebody who reached out, making effort, and said, it was cool playing Airsoft with you. I'd love to do it again, you know? And I was free that day. It was before the field opened. And I thought, oh my God, Jason, this is what you've wanted your whole life. Like, somebody to take an interest in you. Not to just be another face in the crowd, you know? And my brain had every excuse in the world of why I can't do it. I had important stuff, don't get me wrong, very important. Taxes, you know, paperwork, bills to take care of. But I sat there for about 10 minutes and said to myself, what is wrong with you? This is not a self-deprecating thing, but this is how I talk to myself, right? The way I imagine myself is like a sitcom. So I've got the younger me, I've got adolescent age, and my adult self now. Plus I have my whatever negativity, trauma, etc. It's personified, kind of looks like the Grim Reaper. And I'm talking to all of myself, saying, you know, what's wrong with you? This is what you've always wanted. But it wasn't adult me talking to the rest of it. It was actually 5-year-old me talking to the rest of the group. And as the adult, I'm staring at this 5-year-old and I'm going, yeah, I do want that. I wanted somebody to be interested by me purely because of who I am as a person and what I believe in, you know, in a good way, you know, not to miscue things. And for a while, I didn't say anything. I just sat there. And out of all things, you know, the negative side of me was like, you're going to be late. And you have an obligation. And all I could think of is, obligation for what? I haven't said yes to this man, you know? I don't know who he could be, a creep or something. I don't know. I don't know him that well. But then I thought, you know what? The negative side of me has a point. If I don't go now, I'm going to be late. And then I thought, well, what the hell? This stuff's going to be here when I get back, right? Let me go do it. So I went. I did it. I said, yes, I'll go. You know, and our friendship is still young. The dude is cool. But it's those little moments that I tend to overlook or take for granted. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that opportunities come and we say no. And this is not a thing to say, take every opportunity. But I sat there for a good 10, almost 20 minutes thinking about it. I gave it some real thought, deep thought. I weighed pros and cons like one does. In the end, yeah, there were more cons than pros for that moment. But I still decided to take the risk. And I couldn't be happier. Could there be something wrong with me? Maybe. But I got a friend out of this. You know? I learned a lot about myself in that moment. And I also realized very quickly that we can get older. We can change our opinions of things. We can become whatever, right? But we are still who we are, and we are capable of breaking cycles. There is no, it's too late for me. And I'm most proud of that. So if people really believe that things can't change, etc., etc. Sorry, I'm here. I'm just closing the door. My dog walked out. It can happen. Now, by all means, and I can't judge if a relationship is abusive. I'm just going to make that clear. But if, for, God forbid, if something really terrible is happening in that regard, please find help. The appropriate help. I can't make a suggestion. I can't make an opinion. And I won't. Because I feel like even if I experienced it, I wouldn't know. Okay? It's just the way my brain is, the way I interpret things. So, because I love very hard, the way that therapy taught me this was a cool analogy, which was it's like a cat. The cat does love you, genuinely, right? But it's afraid. So it's scratching the air, it's clawing at you, but you're not letting go. That's how I am. Which is why I can't judge an abusive relationship. People could show me evidence, they could show comparisons, there could be multiple people, that's fine. I still can't judge it. But again, if you feel like that, please say something. Do something. Nothing regrettable, but find help. Now, to the relationships again, it was impressive that this person reached out to me, and it's been great. That doesn't mean go meet somebody up in the back alley somewhere, darn dark street or something like that you don't know, you want to get to know them. Don't do that kind of stuff. But I wanted to explain that it can be interesting when you step outside of that comfort zone. And by all means, for the people with the message earlier that I kept very vague because they understand why. I was not ready to do this, to make another friend, to really reach out. I haven't been ready. I haven't been ready for a lot of things for a very long time, and I'm still not going to be ready. But I do them. I wasn't ready to make this video today. At all. I wasn't ready for anything. Anything. But I'm happy with myself enough that I'm going to continue to do it. I understand that this is a dream for some to do what I'm doing. Yes, it costs money, and I'm not going to say, oh, it's cheap, look, just do this, do that. No. It's work. It takes work. I believe you can do the work. I believe everybody out there can do the work when they put their mind to it. Anything is possible. No innovation is stupid. Okay? But also, learn to take criticism, even from the people you really don't want to hear criticism from. This is not the same thing as putting in a negative mind set into your brain that if they say you're going to be unsuccessful, it's going to be hopeless, etc., etc. I was told things like that most of my life. I think I'm moderately successful, and this is my opinion. However, people want to try to standardize, or as I heard in a video, hamburgerification, like McDonald's. The standardization, the unification of metrics to say what it is and what it isn't. That I don't believe in. If you feel successful, you're successful. I still have work to do. Still have a lot of work to do. But I feel successful. And as funny as it sounds, the place I feel like I fail at, not the creative side of D&D with characters, etc. This is where I feel like I fail metrically. I don't know how to make a character sheet in regards to the stats and figures. But I've got stories. I've got characters. I've got humor. And I've also got some very dirty tricks that are going to make people very upset. But I find that interesting because I pose a very great challenge, and most of the time the solutions are so simple. I catch people in the overthinking box so much. So yeah, to summarize it, we can be better people. We can treat each other with dignity and respect, even if they disagree with us. 1. Number 2, you're never going to be alone out there. Okay? And in the most positive way, when I say you're not unique, I mean the troubles. People have had them. We can help. Okay? And to clarify, they don't just disappear. It's not a magic pill. There's not a thing out there that's just going to make it go away overnight. It's work. It's hard. It's painful. But it is rewarding. And you learn to deal with things better. That's number 2. So number 3. I don't believe friendships are optional. I don't believe a lot of certain relationships are optional. However, if there are trouble in the relationship, you're going to have to learn to assess if it is a temporary thing or if it's an ongoing thing. And then that has to be your guiding factor to whether it's a good or a bad fit. And that's the best way I can try to phrase that. Okay? That's your best shot. So it's been a while. I've been going on this rant of what I want my channel to be, maybe exposing myself a little bit. So yes, how I deal with some of these things, and I'm gonna get to the game of World of Tanks and what I'm doing in a moment. When it came to this chat, and I'm gonna use World of Tanks as a lot of referencing for this, because 10 years ago, that's when I met my wife, and 10 years ago I was in a very bad place. Mentally, physically, everything, okay? Inspiration. Lovable, dumb character, but has his heart out there. I want to see what happens to him next, and I really am afraid that it's going to be bad. Now, the chat function on this game that everybody knows where they mess with the team, sometimes you'll just use that little alert button or the wheel, and it gives you the instant talk. That's always been there, but you would have to type your responses in, so people would write very disturbing things in there sometimes. Okay? Now, why is that relevant? Because at some point they allowed you to disable that, and I've had it disabled for years. I have only recently put it back on. And I'm not so happy to report that the same poo is still there. So what do I do to avoid that stuff? I just leave it off. And most of the time, if somebody does DM me in the game, I ignore it. They say some pretty mean shit. Apologize. This is supposed to be as clean as possible, so I might drop a S or a B once in a while. I don't know what the B would be. You know what I mean. BS, whatever. Anyway. I ignore it. They want to go that road, that's fine. This isn't a high road, low road, I'm more moral than thou crap. It's not that. If I don't appreciate it and I don't want it, I don't have to be around it, I don't have to be involved with it, I don't have to look at it. I can choose to ignore it. This is not to make me ignorant. This is because I don't want to waste time, effort, or resources on it. It's not worth my attention. There are just some things that are just not worth anything to you. Okay? Seriously. Why would I waste my time? Mm-hmm. That's all. Sorry, coming in a little clutch here. Using the premium rounds to try and get that extra pen. I'm getting close to getting what I need for this mission, which is exciting. And I'll turn to that for the moment. That's what I'm doing in the game. I'm trying to get this mission done for the premium vehicle. Look at that. We're doing good. Yeah, I'm not going to get that guy spotted. I'm supposed to be spotting people. Yes, there we go. I needed to get out from the middle of those guys. Try to come around the backside. Ooh, frames, frames. Alright. Probably not a good spot. Yep, didn't get that, but that was close. Happy, you know, happy. Good win, good that. Oh, cool. Somebody named Dan had subscribed a month ago. Apologize for not seeing that before. I'm very small as it is, so I don't get to see everything right away. And yeah, I'm relatively quietish anyway. You know, I'm that kind of person to rage at it or not. Oh, look at that. I see. Anyway. Yeah. So this is what I'm working on. I'm just going to have to X this part out. Okay. Let me go back again. Okay. So it started with the Stug. And I already have it. Done. All the missions. I'm working on the T-28. Very close to finishing it. Then I'm going to be working on the T-55, which is the one I really want. I believe it's a German premium, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my lord, I love that emblem. Yes, it looks like it is a German premium. Wow, nice medium tank. It looks like it's kind of based off the T-59. So this is going to be a good fit for me. I do okay with the T-59. Nice. But back to that. So you got to do these missions. I guess the double check mark is because I did the additional reward. And this will tell me where my... Yeah. Destroy all vehicles or capture the base. And that gives us the order. This one, in the battle, I have to do at least 4,000 with me assisting, so... That's with light tanks. So maybe I'll go a tier lower. So you can only do it between tier 5 and 10. Which is why my lower tiers you don't see me play. But hey, by all means, if you want to start the game and you want to play with me, I'll be more than happy to jump in with my old school Minnie Mouse. Because it's tier 2 and it has armor that's 40 millimeters all around, and this gun can penetrate, and I think many others can, but it's still a lot of curved armor. Very, very tough. For example, like this rapid fire guy's average penetration is 23. He ain't getting through. You know what I'm saying? I think this guy's, yeah, 30, so he may. It depends. That's why that premium ammo's helpful, you know? There's a range, and then this one goes up all the way to 53. So anyway, using a light tank like a battle tank. Trying to get the most kills. So what tier 5 do I have where I can do this with? Because it's certain tanks like this one, you don't get to do battles anymore. They put you in these high level ones where you're just kind of there as a scout. You know what? Maybe I'll use this guy. Crew isn't up very high though, but it does have a magazine. I'm gonna be handicapped on it, but what's the armor? It's okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. Yeah, because this one's going to put me in as a scout, too. This one, maybe not so much. Huh. You know, if I go in, 4,000 damage might not be that hard with how high level things are. And my driver is doing the scouting stuff. I'll take a crack at it. This one also has like the premium AP shells as standard ones, and then there's an even higher level version of premium. Like I noticed some guns have that where they have AP, but then some guns have the APCR as the standard ammo, and then they have APCR, which is the premium ones that are 10 times the price. This one happens to be one of the first tanks I think I got that has an APCR as a standard shell, so it's really good. Come on in. Come. So what is it, like 20 seconds and I have 4 shots? Phoebe. She keeps going in and out. You want in or out? I'm not leaving that door open. There's too warm. Oops, sorry. I love the French tanks because they have magazine systems. I think certain Americans do too. But the Italians have a new sort of magazine system, the way they load the shells, and I loved it. I got to use a tank for a trial, which was really, really nice. I'm going to try to go down this peninsula here. Yep, I figured I'd die, but there were so many there, so. See, they let them get down in the river. So we weren't going to push them back from there. It's kind of like you're dug in once you get down in there. If we kept them on the other side, yeah, they're dug in a little bit, but there's no cover. But yes, I'm working on this. And while I understand the tier 8s on both sides have a magazine loader, for this tank. Sorry, the auto reloader, that's what it is called. This is the tier 8 heavy versus the tier 8 medium, the medium being on the left. Maybe a longer reload time. It hurts just a little bit harder. You have one more shell. That's all. Because these mediums say auto reloader, and this one says improved auto reloading. Which is why I want to go the heavy line versus the medium line. So they've had the auto reloader, right? That's all. And of course the Russians for their double barrel. Now I did get the Skoda T25, which I think is a tier higher than the actual T25. But it has an auto loader. Or sorry, it has a magazine system for 3 shots. And I believe they also have the Skoda T40, which is comparable. Maybe a little more armor, a little bit more fire rate and engine speed. But it has an 88 millimeter instead of the autoloader. See? And I believe it's only the tier 6 that has a loader like that. I don't think any of the other guns have a loader. Oh, I take that back. The tier 9 does. The tier 8 doesn't. What about the tier 7? Tier 7 does it. But the tier 9 has it. And the tier 10 definitely should then. It's saying it's the same gun, so then these both should virtually not be different. But they are. Hold on. Okay, so this one just opened up. This one just opened up here. So the tier 10 one is on the right from the actual tier 10 tank. So it comes with 1 shell more in the magazine, a faster reload time, longer total load time, faster aiming time, but the stats are the same. Had a victory on that AMX at least. How about the Bat Chat? It's like the worst tank I've got, I feel like. You know what? I'll try the Tank Hunter again. The medium tank. Probably should go higher tier. Or at least an 8 tier. Let me see if I can get a win on my 59. How about that? I've uploaded a bunch of YouTube videos from Airsoft lately. I have one more I still got to go through. It was very wet and still raining when I did that one, the newest one. It's not up yet. The helmet I was also recording with is a ski helmet, so it's super hot. But there's a Facebook page. You can check it out later. You know, once I get the video up. And I got to talk with them about mentioning it, etc. I know they're online and self-promoting, but I want to make sure they're okay if I mention them. But there's tons of pictures of me and many others. All throughout. Some of the tanks you'll notice I have in my 6 slot, it's a little dial. It's a remove speed governor. It gives you 10% more engine power, but the risk the engine can kind of just destroy itself is there. So, yeah. But I find it more useful because it's only 3,000 credits versus the 20,000 for the 10% on other vehicles using fuel. So, yeah, there's that. I think this has a turbocharger as well. Try to keep the accelerator up. Those quick twitchy movements, you know. Turn that off. I'm about to sneeze. I apologize for everybody's ears. I'm going to go over here, though. So sorry. I cannot believe that there's nobody here. Yeah, I see the shots. I don't know where you think you're going, dude. You're gonna get shot too. A tier 6 and a tier 8 match? That seems unfair. But there's also a Tiger. And there's a Hellcat. I need to find the Hellcat, though. There we go. It caused a fire. Somebody else killed that thing. All right. So the trouble I have is I need to get enough tank destroyers in a match so I can kill 2 of them, but also do a buttload of damage. Okay. It was not a good match. Trying to think, what can I do? Maybe I'll try a tier 6 and see. That's the problem. Is if I get into a tier 8 match as a tier 6, I'm going to be dramatically underpowered. But if I go into the tier 8, I'm surely going to get more things. But then I have this low penetration factor with these guys. And if I do this, I'm definitely going to be fine. Oh, why don't you just do that one? Yeah. Because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I feel like it's too easy. No, you got a point. Let me just see if there's any... I'm not going to have any equipment buffs, but I might have. Nope, I don't have any of those. Not that my concealment's going to help any. You know what? I'm just going to go for a fun one real quick. I'm going to do a quick game with this boy. And I should have some in stock. Good. Give him a little bit more reload speed. I should be in a match fairly quickly with this boy. So I like the low tier tanks. I keep a couple of them around. I used to have some legacy tanks, you know, collector's tanks I should say. The ones where you can't advance in your tech line anywhere, but they're nice to have because they existed. They were also part of the old part of the game before they had to kind of reduce it. So there's like tier 4 heavies. It's cool, but they're not that heavy, but they put up a little bit of a challenge to a degree. I have a B2, which kind of does the same thing. But the point I bring up is the reason I keep lower tier premium tanks around and don't just sell them for extra profit right now when I need money is the fact that I'm good at low tier. Mid tier, it seems to be kind of a niche with me. Like, I'm good, but I'm not perfect, you know? But I can be perfect at times. High tier, I feel like a narcoleptic. Like, I fall asleep on it, you know? Because I'm not that experienced with it. I have high tier tanks. I worked hard to get there. But my skill falls off generally around tier 7. So, yeah. Tiger 1 was my prime. And I really appreciate this Biss wanting me to join him. He's giving me a push. Sometimes that works. You know that there was friendly fire at one point. It didn't. I'm glad that the gunshot friendly fire thing stopped. Mechanically in the game, it was nice because there were some people who would just troll, which was irritating. I know back before when they had like matchmaking issues with friends, like we would just sit at a phone conversation and basically be like 3, 2, 1, go, and then we would get in the same match because we did it at the same time. It was interesting. But the platoon thing is nice. I wish that you could change the tier. Like if I'm in a 7, you could be in a 6. I understand that that's not what they entirely do, but I wish you could still do that. You know? Oh, I totally missed that. Yeah, I'm using auto fire for that. Alright, let me turn off my engine gains. Ooh, it's a heavy tank. No, I'm just here to pick on the mediums, thank you. See? Alright, stop hurting me. Okay, we got 2 kills. Thank you for getting rid of the Biss. Damn it. I pulled the trigger, but it didn't fire for some reason. Oh, well, it was a good one. Got 2. It's a fun little strategy because it's like an artillery howitzer, basically, and I have the reduced reload, so sometimes people think that they have that extra second, but with the speed and stuff. And it's going to go down from where it is now. See, he's a 4-6 player. I'm a 3-8, so we're good. Yeah, once this guy gets his stuff together over here and gets that Brothers in Arms to 100%, this whole tank is going to become even more proficient than it is. And speaking of the proficient, if I go to this medium now, look at all their skills. They don't have Brothers in Arms yet, and yet the thing is way off the chart. It's also the tank I was using a lot of while having watched the anime Girls in Panzer, which is why I decorated it like that. But it's worse, and I think it's the winter. Nope, it's the desert one. It's the desert one. Ba-boom. Love it. Great anime. Check it out. But yeah, and like this one too. So it's got a tier 8 gun, I think, or a tier 7 version. Yeah, of the tier 8, the 88 millimeter. The 6-second reload, and this is the bad one. I'm not even up to snuff. That's not bad. Once I get these guys leveled up, we'll be golden. All I got left in here are the T-50. Well, because before you could pick what tank and everything, and I did that with the last girl, I think. When I earned the Stug, because the Stug only has 4 members, I believe. Let me go to the Stug real quick. I'll show you. So the first premium tank that you got for free was this tier 5. Yeah, there were 4. Not bad. Okay armor in the front. Not the greatest. But hey, it's a tier 5, so it helps you get the other ones. 3,000, yeah, that's not happening. Tier 8. Everything's the same, but it has 88 millimeter. That's all I can say. It's a Jag Tiger with an 88. What's the difference between this one and, say, this one? Health points and the gun for sure. So there's another grouping here which is blocked out because you need to have a tier 6 or higher. And it's for another set of premium tanks, which are the ones to the right, which is the Excalibur. Haven't earned it yet. That's the first one. Then you can unlock the Chimera and the Object 279E, which is early edition, I guess. And the KV-1. Going in here to apply this so I can get more experience on that guy faster. Alright, so let's take him out. Let's do it. Let's take out the 50. Let's go for it. I've only got 15 minutes left or so, so let's give it a try. I know my background's boring. I would have everything else shown here. I have like Star Wars collectibles and stuff. I brought my Game Boy already downstairs. I still have my Game Boy Color from back in the day, and I play Yellow. That one's my favorite. I'm a little OG like that. So even in Pokemon Go, like I'm collecting all the primaries. So I'm up to Ivysaur, Wartortle, and Charmeleon. You know, I've almost got all of them, and I'm trying to get them 3-star evolved, etc. So there you go. Pokemon Go, you know, nice little free version of it. A lot of people say, hey, it sucks because you got to pay to win, and you don't really pay for Pokemon. You pay for Pokeballs if you want, in my opinion. As far as items goes, yeah, you're a part of one of 3 teams. Go to one of your gyms. You'll get tons of items every day for free. I'm lucky I got one at the end of my road that I'm in competition with all the time with other people, but 1 or 2, you know, people ever captured. I had 5 at one point. I just whip out my Gyarados, which is 2,500, not that much, and just take them out and take it back over. You know, but we trade it back and forth. I have some shinies. They're not 3 stars, though, but if anybody wants them purely because they don't care about stats, they just want the Pokemon, I'll be happy to trade you. I'm not going to say where I live, necessarily, but I will say I'm in New York. That's about it. Been here my whole life, so it's not like it's news, in my opinion. Well, that medium's gone. Cragvagon. Repair my ammo. I was going to try to get that thing. Unable to shoot due to vehicle destroyed by fire. See what I mean? Like, I don't have the same tactics as everybody else when it comes to that high level. Alright. Let's try another one. This is the tank from the anime Girls in Panzer, so they have all the characters. Can't do anything with it, like adjust it or anything, but it's, you know, it's a nice little premium tank. I like the art style. It looks very anime-like. I'm just proud enough that they let me put like the decal when I master it, and they put my clan emblem on there, which is yay. I do have a clan. It's my own. Not many people. You know, I'm kind of picky when it comes to that. I don't do the you must be playing at X time, da 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 da. I work for a living. You know, people have families. People have kids. I'm 30. We're getting into that, you know, era where we're just busy. So, I don't demand anything of anybody. If you guys want to step aside and say, hey, let's do this together, that, and you want to be a part of the team like that, and you want to help everybody, then fine. Same thing with Galaxy Heroes for Star Wars. I've been a part of so many clans. I contribute when I can. Sometimes I work, you know, 12-hour shifts, so I just don't have the time to in that day to play or to energy. It happens. You know, accept it. That's all. You know, so sort of what I talked about earlier in the video, and now I'm talking about clans, I apply that same logic of how to play with clans. You know, yes, it's nice to do this and that, but you want to do a mission like even in Destiny, you want to get together with 6 people, do that. That's fine. I did this in Lotro. We had a bunch of people who were just like, I'm tired of the schedules. We don't want to do this. I said, fine. When you're on, we'll play. You know, we'll leave each other emails, messages saying, hey, I want to do this. Let's organize a time and date, and we'll do it together. That's all it takes. You don't need to force people or make them feel like if you want to be worthy of being in our clan, then you must do this, that, the other thing. No. My only requirements are don't be a jerk. Try to be polite as much as possible, you know, and that's it. And if you're going to have conversations that aren't relevant to the game, be aware, okay, of yourself and feelings and others. And if it's a conversation that you're going to be having about stuff that you know people might not agree with, just say, hey, we're going to talk about something that we don't agree, you know, you might not agree with. If they want to say, well, let me figure it out for myself, then sure, let them sit there and listen. But if they're like, yeah, this isn't for me, then you remove yourselves. Self-responsibility, you know, take yourself out. If you're going to talk about money and politics and you know people don't want to talk about politics, just say, hey, we're going to go talk about something. We know you guys don't like it. We'll be back later, or whatever. Hit us up when you're ready to do a mission. Something like that. That's all it takes. That is literally all it takes. But hey, if being conscientious of another person and being respectful, and that's what I was always taught, right? Respect your elders, respect, you know, other people, etc. If being respectful makes you a snowflake, then I don't care. But I do find that there's so many people out there that get offended because they're being corrected, because they're wrong about something. It's not pertaining to facts or figures. I've been called the wrong name. I have a company with a bill that my name is wrong on it, and I keep saying, well, either fix the name or, hey, that's not me. They get upset because they're like, no, I don't have to do that. Well, you do, because that's not who I am. That's not my name. You know? And I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. And this is not to sound like I'm going to be mean, but some people will take it however you want. It doesn't matter to me who you are, what you believe in, how you view yourself, the world, etc. Okay? All I care about, for me to register you as a decent person, is how you treat other people. Okay? That's it. If you're going to be a jerk and you're going to spread hate and be mean to people and just be outright obnoxious about it, to me, you're never going to be a good person. Okay? Being from New York, yeah, it's a tough and rumble place. Yeah, sometimes we get, you know, riled up because of a sporting event. But guess what? If it was the day a sporting event happened, that's what's going to be said around here. I don't care about sports. I'm not going to tell people to shut up just because I don't listen to sports. See what I'm saying? That's their day. Let them have it. But hey, in a week, if they're going to be talking about it, the same intensity, the same loudness, being disrespectful and unconscientious about people around them, yeah, then I'm going to say, hey, shut up. Stop that. And that's in regards to that topic, okay? Now, as far as respecting other people, absolutely respect other people. If you have an opinion or you feel a certain way about a topic, but the group that's talking about it is not sharing your particular viewpoint, do not interject yourself in there and try to act like you are the superior side. That crap needs to stop. If you want to get involved and put your side of it out there, then you need to introduce yourself to the conversation and saying, hey, I view this differently. Can we have a dialogue about this? Can we talk about this? Can I show you what I think? You know, but don't just say, you're wrong, this is what's right. No. That's how you get those dumb videos where everybody goes, something happened before this moment, and we don't know what the full story is. And then the person who's trying to genuinely be like, look at how mean they are to me, gets completely passed over because they don't preface that entering of the conversation. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it matters. look at that. Tier 6 and a Tier 8. That's the worst side of it because I'm using a tank that resembles a TIE fighter, as they've called it in the game. And I really hope the recording doesn't come out laggy like it is during the live stream. But we'll see. It's just helpful to have the game playing so I can be distracted. And I'll end it in a couple of minutes. Here you go. Tank, 60 armor. Tier 4, though. You know, 60 armor, 46 around the turret. Low caliber gun. Gets similar effect, but with 40 mil and 2 tiers lower. But I said fun, so we could do burst fire, or we could do this outrageous gun. See, it's a tier 2. So you got no options for premium stuff. Maybe fuel, but I'm not putting 20 grand worth into that thing. You know what I mean? Per match. I did increase the survivability, but that was mostly for the load capacity. It does something else. Suspension durability and durability impact. Yes, that's what it was. But I could have put a turbocharger on it and just made this thing's mobility even crazier. Now I'm thinking about it. The more I want to do the classic. This thing can hold 200 rounds now? Okay. Just gonna double its ammo capacity. Literally. Two-second reload speed, so I don't know. I do more damage to armor penetrating. It's pretty good mobility-wise. So let's just go into it. I gave myself a fire extinguisher because, for goodness sake, there was like somebody had a legacy vehicle. It was a tank destroyer, and he got me just so that it burned me. And at the time, I think I only had a repair kit, so I burnt to death. So now I just carry the fire extinguisher. Phoebe, I hear you whining out there. I don't know why you're whining. Yeah, there. Now I close the door. You're staying in here now. Hi. Would you like to say hello to everybody while I'm loading into my last match? You want my food? Come here. Up, up. Uh-uh. Up, up. Phoebe. Phoebe. Up, up. Come here. You. Oh, say hello to everybody. Say hello, my little pity princess. Yes. Yes, we're going to go too soon. That's why I'm ending. Yes. Let's go. All right. Last match. I love you. You know, you're messing up my background. Yes. Go, my little tugboat. Hang on, Phoebe. It's a two-person tank. Crank that turret. Shh, 1 minute. Phoebe, just wait. Okay, now you're being annoying. Hey, get down. Ow. Will you get down, you little ham? I'm gonna play with you in a minute. This is the last match. I promise. I promise. Yes, I know. Shh. Phoebe, don't whine. Oop, I missed. Yeah, see? There's that tier 3. Ooh, ooh, tank destroyer. No! Oh no, the tank destroyer. Oh no! Where are you? How are you hitting me? Come on, little putt-putt. We gotta do this. Oh, I'm gonna die here. Ah, as soon as I switched. I like it because the velocity on some of those premium shells are a little bit faster than the standard ones, so I could kind of get him and hit him first before he hits me. But you see how many shells I bounced? Tier 2s, pretty equal. Pretty darn close in penetration. It's amazing. I know, you're laying over there pretending to be dead. Alright, well that was it. And my thing's going to run out, so it's perfect. And, yeah. Thank you, and I hope this kind of clarifies what my channel's supposed to be about. I might not talk about it again. I might do it again, too. I don't know. But this is kind of what I'm doing. I play video games. I talk a little bit philosophy. I try to keep things in a straightforward perspective, you know? Because there's too much craziness and corruption out there for me to contribute to misinformation and dumb stuff. Okay? And, yeah, if you watch some of my other videos and you find me on Xbox and you feel interested in playing, you can more than welcome to, you know, hit me up. You can leave a comment on the video. I will read them. I do read them occasionally, especially when they come up. Alright? And hopefully I'll see you guys when I decide to do another live stream. Thank you.